Hello everybody, I'm Slow Rider, this is my world. Welcome one and all, how you doing? Hope you're enjoying your day. It's sunny, why wouldn't you be enjoying it? Maybe it's not sunny when you're watching this. Who cares? So today, I'm going to be giving you some information. It's not really a review, it's kind of a review, sort of, on this little device here, which is a Beeline Moto II. Now, for clarity, when I heard these were out, I ordered a Beeline Moto, the original one, because I thought it'd be cheaper, and it was. They were discounted, it was great. So I ordered it, and this one arrived, which is the Beeline Moto II. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, clarity, there you go. Why did I buy it is perhaps a better question, and I bought it for this bike, the CBR, because I am more and more carrying around more and more stuff. Puncture repair kits, camera equipment, batteries, so on and so forth. And so I need a tank bag more and more. I have a tail pack on at the moment because I'm not carrying that much, but if I want a camera on the back, I can't have the tail pack on. So, I'm finding I'm going to be having the tank bag on. But the problem with the tank bag I've got, and I suspect every other tank bag I might get, is that I can't do full lock to the left with my phone attached to the handlebar. And I'm sure there's lots of you crying out saying, oh, you could put it in the no, I can't do that either. For much the same reason, that the tank bag comes quite far forward. So the options really were this, or one of those CarPlay unit things. And for this bike, I don't know, that just seems like, where would it go? How would it fit? How would it react with the tank bag? And I don't want to spend near £200 on a unit for this bike if I can't use it. So I thought of these because I'd seen them a long time ago. I mean, a good few years ago. And I think I did a video on Detect and Rever, those two apps, and on one of them someone said, hey, when are you going to do the Beeline Moto? And I ain't got one. And it's a lot of money. And it is a lot of money. But I'm going to be honest with you, I've ridden with this thing on now 3 times. The first time I was going to try and record something, and the camera didn't record it. Second time, actually no, well earlier on was kind of the second time, and I'm doing this now with this on. That's the third time. There you go, 3 times. Anyway, I've got to say, I think it's really cool. I like it very much. Very, very much. I don't know how it compares to the original one, really. I know that the display is more detailed. But beyond that, I really don't know. In terms of what you get for your money, well, basically you get this unit. That's it. The app you can use without this, so you could just get the Beeline app. I don't know why you would, to be honest, but it is a thing. And in fairness, having now got this and having installed the Beeline app, I don't know why I didn't do it earlier. I really don't. So, yeah, this has, we'll start with this, we might as well start with that, we'll get to the app in a little bit. This has 4 buttons in it and an LED at the top, and it's secured using its standard mount to my bike by 2 kind of rubberized elastic band things. I must admit, I didn't think it was the most secure thing in the world, but it's doing a decent job so far. No signs of damage or wear or tear to report so far. Granted, I've not had it that long, but it's looking good so far. The 4 buttons are actually hidden within the unit, so there's a pivot point in the middle, and you hold the bottom or the left or the right or whatever, and it pushes the buttons inside, which means it is, from that point of view, very good for waterproofing. There is one downside of waterproofing, and that's that there's a USB socket in the bottom, USB-C, and it's completely uncovered. So, yeah, you might want to be careful if you're in heavy rain. I'm going to put it that way. But because of its position, it probably isn't that much of a problem. The idea with this one is that you can actually charge it whilst you're using it, or run it off the mains and use it that way. But as it's got 14 hours of battery life, I'm not actually sure when you would need to run it plugged in. I know with the Beeline it was 10 hours in the bike mode and 30 hours if you turned it down. I don't know if there's a brightness setting on this, I haven't explored that. But I've had no problem seeing this display at all. Oops, I'm going this way. Absolutely no problem seeing this display with the sun on it, or in the dark, or whatever. I don't know why that is, I don't know why it's so good. It just is. There is a little LED which, when it's charging, it flashes green or stays green if it's fully charged. And when you've got a change of direction, or change of instruction, it flashes. It's either a blue flash or a white flash. I seem sometimes to get a blue flash and sometimes to get a white flash, and maybe it's just my eyes because it's not in my direct line of sight. So, I don't know. But it's enough to just attract your attention to the fact that something has changed. And this is quite useful because the basic navigation app doesn't have audio description. It's just what you see on here. My initial thought on that was, oh dear. But actually there have been a couple of occasions where I found it's beneficial not to have it. A, because it's not a distraction. B, because I don't have to try and really listen hard when the car doesn't actually put the volume up enough for me to hear it properly. And that little flash, because it's on my peripheral vision, it's just enough to tell me there's a new instruction. And I can look down and go, I've got half a mile or whatever. It's clear. I don't have to worry about it in sunlight or whatever because I can see it. It's just, it does the job really well. I'm not going to lie, it does the job really well. The way I've got it set up, you've got a direction, distance, you've got a little map, and when it knows the road number, it tells you the road number. There we go. As I speak, it comes up. The next one goes on to the B5359 in about 2 miles. It's simple. Really simple. The line is not just a line, it shows you where all the little roads are coming off it. And that's all. It doesn't bamboozle you with a big map. It just says, no, you take this road, and you take this road, and you take this road. Even roundabouts are relatively simplified in that regard. I quite like it. I suspect other people might hate it. But I like it. When you've got multi-lane roundabouts, it can be a little bit tricky. But I haven't missed a turn so far. I will miss one, but I haven't yet. But in terms of the display unit, yeah, I mean, when you've got things to do on the button, you know, the buttons, it'll put a little display up. I haven't had to really use them other than to turn the thing on and turn the thing off. But there are 4 buttons in there. All of the navigation stuff works off of the Beeline Moto app, which you could use without the display if you want to get a feel for what it's like, sort of, you know, if it's intuitive or whatnot. You could probably do that without shelling out on this display. My rather limited experience so far says that it doesn't do anything wrong. Everywhere I've needed to find for a direct route, it's found it. National Motorbike Museum, it found it. Just by typing that in, National Motorcycle, and then it went, National Motorcycle Museum. Brilliant, there we go, done. Longmynd Viewing Point, whatever road it was on, that was in there. It just knew. I found that to be really useful. Really easy to use. You can set up multiple waypoints. You can import GPX files. I haven't experimented to see if you can export them, but I would presume that that's a thing. I don't think you'd ever need to. It has the usual options: avoid tolls, avoid highways, or avoid ferries. It has 2 route modes, fast and fun. So if you selected fast and no highways, you would get basically dual carriageways, etc. If you picked fun with no highways, then you get the fun routes with no highways. Now, I would suggest there is possibly an occasion where a fun route might use a motorway for a short section, and if you didn't have that, it might take you on a much longer route. It's just the presumption on my part. At this point, I've not actually tested it that much, so, you know. Where am I going now? I think we're going that way. Looks like we're going this way. Yes, cool. See, still not made a wrong turn. You can just make that out where all the roads are. Yeah, anyway. Go back to the app. Yeah, so it has all the basic sort of functions. It's designed for 2 types of vehicle, motorcycles and bicycles. Basically, that's its market. It doesn't worry about cars or anything like that. Although you probably could use it in a car. I don't see any reason why not. Strap it to the steering wheel or something. But that's its 2 primary modes of use. It's just a really simple, really easy to use app, I think. You know, much like using Google or Waze or something like that. Now, as usual with the apps, there is an elephant in the room, which is the premium version of the app, and Beeline Moto is no different. There is a premium version. It is £4 per month, and I suspect that it's a pain in the arse to cancel that subscription every time you want to cancel it. But I can definitely see a purpose in the premium app, unlike the others where you can get along perfectly fine without it. Yeah, I really can see a use for it. Almost to the point that I'm tempted to get it. With the premium app, yeah, you get the audio instructions, which you don't get on the standard app. You get the directions, you just don't get the audio inputs. So you get that. The premium version also allows you to do twisty routes, which is fairly standard across all apps these days, it seems. I mean, Moto's a massive exception now in that everything needs to be paid for. But, yeah, even Detect has, if you want to do a twisty route, you've got to pay for the premium version, which is, yeah, a bit meh. And it's the same with the Beeline Moto app. It's, hello. It's the same thing. You've got to pay for that. The third thing it gives you, I think, is a potential game changer. I really do. Live traffic updates. It's something that DTEC and Beeline Moto, to my knowledge, are massively lacking on, and Rever. And if I need an A to B journey as quickly as possible, until now I've been using Waze because it's got live traffic update. I could use this now. I wouldn't want to, I'd probably still use Waze, but it's not really the point. If I wanted a curvy route, or a fun route, or whatever, and have live traffic, if I wanted to import a GPX file and have live traffic, I'm impressed by that. I've not used it yet. I haven't paid for it. That's Jodrell Bank, look. There we are. Isn't that nice? Anyway, distractions aside, yeah, I think that's a brilliant thing. I said I've not paid for this subscription yet. I probably won't over the winter. I might in the summer. Told you it's Jodrell Bank. No one listens to me. No one listens to Paul Zathras. I actually remember once a manager at our company went past on the train and took a picture of that and went, wow, what's that thing? And everyone, I don't mean everyone, even people who live in Leeds and York said, that's Jodrell Bank. Anyway, miles away from the topic. Yeah, so live traffic on the premium thing, I think is fantastic. I really do. I would go through the whole app and explain everything that's on there, but it's very basic. There's no community features or anything like that. There doesn't need to be. You can record routes, you can plan routes, you can save routes. Yeah, it's just a sat nav, and because it's just a sat nav, it does well at being a sat nav. I'm thoroughly impressed. I really am thoroughly impressed. I say I've not yet, to my knowledge, missed a turn. Well, at least not unintentionally. I did deliberately, on previous video I did deliberately take a wrong turn, and it corrected itself pretty quickly. Granted, I was probably in a good signal area, but yeah, it did that pretty quickly. It's also worth noting it works off Bluetooth to your phone, so most phones I think can now Bluetooth to multiple things. So you could have it Bluetooth to this and to a Cardo unit, so you can have comms or whatever, or, you know, listen to music, whatever. And because you're not having to listen to audio, it's not conflicting. You're not having to go, oh, I didn't make that out because someone was talking on comms or whatever. And you can have your phone safely stored away in your pocket, on the bike, whatever, with a battery pack or connected to the mains or whatever, so it doesn't run out of battery. It's just, yeah, whoever came up with this idea, whoever it was, well done, sir. Well done. I like it. I like it a lot. I've actually, at the moment, I've got my phone in my pocket, so I can't see it. It's on silent, so I can't hear it. It's not connected to my Cardo at the moment either, anyway. So if I'm missing an important message or something, oh well. But it also means it's less distracting. I mean, I've mentioned the flashing light, that, or at least I think I have, when the instruction changes, the LED flashes. That is far less distracting than having the phone there and a message pop up on it and you go, oh, what's that message? And then you crash into something. yeah, thoroughly impressed. I genuinely am. I'll keep you up to date on how it goes, and if I have any problems with it, obviously I'm going to let you know. But yeah, I'm impressed. It is, as I say, it is a little bit on the pricey side. It's 180 quid, assuming you don't get lucky like me. £180, which is, yeah, CarPlay territory. But if you haven't got much room, that's pretty awesome. I have at the moment, because of the way it mounts onto a handlebar, so I've had to rig this on, which I'm not entirely happy with, but it does the job. I'm thinking maybe trying to install it in there somewhere, somehow. Don't know yet. So even here, third exit, I know exactly where I'm going. There's no overly complicated map on there where I have to try and figure everything out for myself. It's just, it is plainly black and white. Oh, it's so good. So yeah, I'm going to try and figure out some way to put it in that corner, I think, because it hides an ugly spot then. Rather than it becoming another ugly spot. But yeah, damn, it's good. I genuinely, at this point, not much experience with it, but at this point, I recommend. I really do. I think it's awesome. It does only work with the app software. Did I mention that? I don't know. But yeah, it only seems to work with the app software. So if you have a particular app that you like using, just put your phone on your handlebar, I guess. But yeah, I don't think you can go far wrong with this. I really don't. It's so simple, so easy to use. There's no worrying about whether you've got gloves on that are touch sensitive, because you've got 4 buttons that do the functions that you need whilst you're riding. I think there's skip waypoints, whatever. I've not played with the buttons, I know how to switch it on and off.
So I know what you're thinking at this point. RCFM. You're right, and I did. So, the buttons, whilst you're riding, the top button and the bottom button take you through the menu screens and other options, which include a compass and a speedometer and a speed reminder and some statistics. There is a ride menu, which, from what I can see, doesn't give a huge amount of extra features, because I'll come to them in a moment. The left and right adjust the menus and the brightness of the screen. If you hold down the top button for 3 seconds, that will skip a waypoint. If you hold down the left and right, it will rate the road that you're on the right button for a positive review and the left button for a negative review, which I kind of like that feature. And if you hold the bottom button down for 3 seconds, it will pause the ride. Once you've paused the ride, the bottom button held down will start the ride again, the top button will end the ride. There you go. Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I know this is not the most comprehensive review you've ever seen in your life. There really isn't much to say. I was going to go down the route of the way I did with Detect and Rev, and just do ride shots and a voiceover and then screenshots of the app, etc. But there's no point. There's really no point. It's so simple. If I think of all the features the Detect app has got, the communities, whatever, and the distances travelled, and blah, 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 blah. How much of that do I actually use? None. None at all. Which is precisely the amount of knowledge I've got that's evoked on constructively out of your head. No, but seriously, a lot of the stuff the other apps have, you just don't need. And if you really wanted a curvy moot and you're really miserly and didn't want to pay the £4 a month or whatever, even just £4 for a month, and then generate shitloads of curvy routes or circular routes, if you didn't want to do that, just use the Kalimoto website, generate a GPX file, import it, and then use it. But so far, no problems with this at all. No problems at all. I want this traffic to get out of the way. I've got far to my next turning instruction. Johnsonville B Road, so this traffic might not go with me. Who knows? Attaching it to your handlebar is really easy as well, with the basics. So long as you've got some handlebar to actually attach it to. So I've had to put this together, which was a cheap thing off Wish that I got years ago and thought I'll never use that, it's so cheap and shit, and here I am using it. Yeah, there are two elastic, well, I'd say elastic bands, they're not elastic bands, they're like rubberized ring things that hold on a base to the handlebar. The actual unit itself, you twist it to attach it or detach it, like you would for a quad lock phone or something. It's that same sort of thing. It's just a sort of a 45 degree twist and it lifts off. Put it on, twist it 45 degrees and it's back on. Done. Simples, as they would say. But it's a 30. It does look like it's 30. Oh. Whoa, Jesus. Fucking hell, nearly us to then. Oh. Throw it into the corner. Yes, slippery, slippery. Oh boy. So where am I going to put Beeline Moto II and the app in my pecking order of apps that I would use for navigation? So far we've got Waze if it's A to B, Detect if it's Curvy Woo, and I would use Kalimoto just for route planning on the website, because I'm not paying for that when Detect does basically the same thing for free. So where does this fit in? So far, and I say I've not imported a GPX, so I don't quite know what that is like, how intuitive it is. But if that's good, and I'll let you know, if that's good, then for A to B routes, A to Z routes, well I suppose that works too. For A to B routes, I would use this more than Waze. Genuinely. I'm even thinking at this point, because the mount is so easy to transplant between bikes, I might just use this on all of them. That's how good I think it is. It was just going to be, well, I'll use it for this because there's not much space. But well, this is so good. And the thing is, even if I had to sort of permanently glue a base down or something, I could still twist this off and get other bases for the other bikes if I really wanted to, but I don't. I've got an arm like this on my Sprint. I'm reasonably sure I could fit one to my NC if I needed to. Yeah, and in terms of twisty routes, I would put this above Detect, to be honest. I really would. I don't know if you had just the app on a phone screen on the mount. I don't know if I would use that, because obviously I haven't got the phone there. But I would suggest, if I was relying on that and I didn't have this little unit, if I was just relying on the app, no, I'd probably still stick with Waze and Detect. But, you know, if you're going to use this screen, you can't use those apps, so, yeah. But no, I would happily have that on there rather than the phone mount. I've rambled a bit in this one, I'm sorry. But trying to cover all the points. If you have any questions on this, I will try and answer them. Do I think it's worth the money? It's probably the biggest one you've got right now. Tricky. That's far more tricky than saying it's a damn good thing and I wouldn't go without it. Because it is relatively expensive. For what it is, you know, the RRP, I think it's £180. It's a lot of money to spend out on something that's just going to take a phone off your handlebar. Particularly if, like me, your phone is mounted in something that costs 20 quid. I personally, I've not used CarPlay, so probably not the best place to sort of say it's better than that. But this does everything I need it to do. Absolutely everything I need it to do. And I can control music from my Cardo, so I don't need the phone here. I don't need a big display telling me. I don't need a CarPlay map on the screen telling me where to go, because I've got it on there. If you're the sort of person who would rather spend 20 quid on a phone mount than 180 quid on this, or CarPlay, or whatever, you stick to your phone mount. But if you're thinking, well, do you know what? I want to look into getting a CarPlay or something like that because I don't want my phone on my dash anymore or my handlebars anymore. Definitely give this a look. The thing is, one of the things you're paying for is its size. It is tiny in comparison to a CarPlay or having your phone on the mount, on handlebar mount, or whatever. I'm going to put it out there. Yes, it's worth 180 quid. Probably only just, but yes, I think it is. Having never used CarPlay, I can't say it's better than CarPlay or worse than CarPlay, but would I trade this for CarPlay? No. There we go. I think I've answered it. I think I have. I don't know. No idea. The fair answer is I don't think I've wasted my money. Granted, I didn't pay £180 for it. But that aside, that minor point, no, I don't think I've wasted my money. The downsides you have to watch out for, yeah, you have to use that one particular app, and yeah, there's a potential for leakage because of the USB socket in there, but I'm sure you can find a rubber bung or something that would fit in there if you're really that worried about it. I think it's a little bit of an oversight that it is an open port, but I don't think it's a big oversight. I think most people would use it in dry weather, and therefore it's not an issue. And the way it's oriented, I mean, you could orient it with the USB at the top, at the front, or at the sides. I wouldn't. There's no real point. At least at the moment, I don't think there's any real point. So, yeah. I think I've covered everything I can at the moment. Everything that I know. I will keep you informed, obviously, but first impressions, yeah, that's a solid bit of kit. I guess the one thing I really need to check is how it performs when you know where you're riding, and you just want to record the route to say what route you've done. I guess I would want to see how that functions in regards to the app, because the app, obviously, you can record a route without having to plan navigation on it. Let's say if you know where you're going, or if you're following someone, if you're doing the Wild Bad Weekend ride out and you want to record the routes, you can look back at it and go, oh, this is where I went, and this is where I went, and this is where I went. How does that work in relation to this? I will find out. I will get back to you. When you're not actually on the route itself, it does give you some rather uninteresting facts. You know, how many miles you've done, average speed, you know, stuff like that. Not really important, but it does put it on there. So if you don't want any of your journeys recorded, maybe that's not an app to have. Maybe it's not a thing to have. I don't know. But if you don't want it recorded, why would you have a fucking sat-nav? Anyway. It's weird. I don't, because I'm not concentrating on listening for audio input for where I'm supposed to be turning, I think I'm actually concentrating better. And therefore, for that reason, I'm not missing turns. Like, less is more kind of thing. Maybe. I don't know. But that's how my brain is inputting it at the moment. Oh yeah, I don't think I could actually add anything more useful at this point. I'm going to the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Buy one of these, or don't buy one of these. It's entirely up to you, but I think they're pretty good. Be good humans. Ta-ta for now.